Okay, all right. We're excited. This is game week. I know our players and our coaches have been waiting for this week for a long time. We're very excited about playing at home. I think that's going to be very important this first game. Playing one of the best teams in the country. They played for the national championship last year, almost won it. They got a lot of experience back. Starting with their offense, scheme-wise, there is some similarities between what we do and what they do. Their quarterback is one of the best players in college football, if not the best player. Just does a very good job of managing games, does a good job of extending plays when things break down, and when they choose to run him, he's a definite running threat. Their skill is experienced and talented. The receivers, they're all very talented. They can run with the ball after they catch it. Very impressed with a running back too. A lot of times he kind of gets lost in the whole deal, but he's an excellent running back. He breaks tackles. They have a very good running game to go along with their pass game. Defensively, their defense coordinator, Coach Venables, one of the best in the business, been around a long time. Faced him a couple times. He does a very good job of taking away what an offense does best. Very impressed with their linebacker, number 10, the Boulware kid. Does a very good job of getting everybody lined up. You can tell he's their leader back there. Just does a super job, and I love the way he plays. So a lot of experience back on offense and defense. As far as our defense is concerned, we've had a very good fall camp. We will be playing without Stephen Roberts. Stephen's going to be suspended for this game. I do feel good about the secondary that we do have back there, specifically the safeties, the position that he played. Like I said, we've had a good fall camp. Our defense is going to have to do a good job throwing off their timing. We've got to stop the run, obviously, keep away from the big play in the passing game. Offensively, we've also had a very good fall camp. We have some inexperience in some areas. Looking forward to watching this group in this first game. We're playing a very good defense. Excited to watch these guys get out there and do their thing. But overall, like I said, we're excited. This is game week. This will be a good measuring stick of where we're at, playing one of the best teams in the country on our home field. Questions?
Does Stephen's suspension just the one game, or could it extend longer?
It's going to be week to week. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how he responds.
When y'all are nickel, will Rudy Ford be the nickel, and who will be your starting safety?
We got the flexibility to do both. We got experience. Rudy's got experience doing both, and so I really don't want to say too much more than our plan, but you could see him at both positions. Josh Holsey's a veteran guy that we've had. Boston's a guy that's had a very good spring and fall camp. Obviously, Nick Ruffin with a lot of experience. Trey Matthews with a lot of experience. So we have T.J. Davis, throw him in there too. So we got a lot of guys that we could mix and match for different things.
I see Tag is listed second team. Talk about what he's done in preseason.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. We're hoping, after a short period of time, as the season goes, he'll be more game ready. He's very talented. He's a smart guy. So he's done a good job. We've been very impressed with him.
Could you talk about Markel Boston's development and probably being pretty timely for you?
Yeah, he had a very good spring. He made some impact plays in spring. I think he had a couple pick sixes, picked up a fumble for a touchdown. He's really coming on, and he's carried that over in fall camp, and so we're excited about what he can do.
Gus, we've heard a lot about Montavious Atkinson, and he's a guy that really made a move on the depth chart. What have you seen out of him?
Well, he's got a nose for the ball. He can really run, and I think you can just see him grow each week, just getting more experience and learning about the defense, and so. But he's improved each week.
Gus, Will Hastings? Did you just talk about that? That's something most of us probably weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
His rise.
Yeah, he came from Pulaski Academy, and I think he had 120 catches his senior year, and just a guy that we played around in the spring. He played wide receiver, and fall camp has just really done a good job. So, he's in the mix, and he's got a chance to be a solid player, we feel like.
Or even you're a little curious what Carl Lawson can do now that he's got some experience, if he's healthy a full year?
No, I'm not curious. I know what he can do. I mean, he's healthier than he's ever been. he's an impact player. So we expect him to play well, and I know he expects himself to play well too. So he's in a good spot.
Gus, you addressed the Colin Kaepernick situation with your players at all? If they wanted to have some sort of protest about anything, what would you say?
No, no, I've not addressed it with them. I don't think we're out there for the national anthem anyway.
Coach, you said a couple of times this offseason that you wanted to be more hands-on with X's and O's this season. Was there a particular moment where, during last season, where you decided that to be the case, and how do you see that ultimately manifesting itself in game?
You know, kind of like I said, I mean, after the season, you kind of always sit back and you try to evaluate everything and evaluate really, you know, what we could do better, and just kind of went back to my comfort zone of trying to be more hands-on in practice and meetings and everything that goes with that. So, you know, that was kind of been my approach, you know, since spring, and have been more hands-on. That doesn't mean that I don't have great confidence in our offensive coaches, which I do, and I've said that before. But that's what I enjoy doing.
Have you noticed a difference just as far as the performance in practice since you've done that?
Well, a difference for me. That's probably the biggest thing. So.
We decided to do the team captain too.
Not yet. We'll have that down probably Thursday.
Marlon Davidson kind of established himself almost 2 weeks into spring camp. Were you surprised how quickly he's kind of taken that spot and now obviously listed as starter?
Yeah, he had a very good spring. He got here early, and anytime a freshman gets early, they got a chance to show what they can do. Made an immediate impact in the spring that's carried over in fall camp, and he's got opportunity to start as a true freshman, which is rare. You know what, Brian?
What exactly is your policy, team policy regarding firearms?
We don't want them. We don't want our players with them.
Licensed or not?
What's that?
Licensed or
Yeah,
not?
handguns, correct.
You talk about John Broussard, how he's coming along this preseason.
Yeah, John is a guy that you know, has had a good fall camp. You can tell he was here early too, and that definitely helped him. But you know, he could give us some depth back there, and you know, he's gotten better each practice.
Is he a pretty confident kid for a true freshman back there?
You got to be confident if you're going to play corner in this league. I mean, the more confidence you get is usually by experience, but as much as he can, just in practice, I'd say, you know, he's fairly confident. We'll see as you go. You get in games, and that's how you get real confidence playing corner.
Have you made a decision on who's going to be up in the box on game day?
Yeah, Kevin Steele will be up in the box. Herb Hand will be up in the box offensively.
How confident are you in Herb Hand in doing that, considering the 2 years you did at Tulsa? What did you learn about that communication back then?
Well, it worked pretty good back then, and you know, our personalities complement each other. You know, he's got a good feel for things, and so we just figured we'd carry that over like we did in Tulsa, and you know, I think it'll be a real good thing.
Gus, who you got to work with the offensive line on the sideline?
What's that?
Who will be with the offensive line on the sideline?
Yeah, it'll be Coach Horton, and it'll be our offensive GA. Will be down there in between, and that's what we did at Tulsa. And of course, Herb will be communicating with the guys through the headset, you know, on the sideline too.
I know you've been asked some variation of this probably dozens of times, but is there, how much personal motivation drive is there to get things going back in the right direction after last season didn't go the way you wanted?
Yeah, well, I think if you're a competitor, you know, last year obviously we were disappointed with the way things turned out. If you're a competitor, you want to do something about it. And you know, our teams kind of had a chip on their shoulder in the off season, which I think is good. I know our coaching staff, with really myself, definitely we want to get out and we want to play good football, and you know, that's what we expect.
Just going back to Herb Hand just a little bit, he's been here 9 months or so. Does it just kind of feel like old times? Did you guys pick right back up where you were?
Yeah, it really did. It was probably the first week, and you know, we were already finishing each other's sentences, and we kind of think alike as far as football goes, even though we're completely different people. I think we complement each other very well. Herb's a very smart guy, our staff, and you know, the fact that him and Red already had a previous relationship too, it's been very comfortable with that transition.
Guess we kind of saw what Rudy and Carry on do last year on kick return, but Cam Martin and Stanton listed there. What have you seen from them when they got some?
Yeah, Cam Martin's a guy that we think is going to be an excellent player, even though he's a true freshman. We think he's got a chance to definitely help us this year. Stanton Truitt's a guy that, has made some very good plays for us in the past. He just had trouble staying healthy, and we feel very good about both those guys on the kickoff return. Obviously, the two starters back there were I guess in the top 5 or top 10 last year in the league in returning. That's got to be a strength of ours.
But y'all don't list another running back, only 2 running backs.
Yeah.
Kind of where Malik and Cam.
Yeah, Malik and Cam will both play this year, and I've been impressed with both of them. So, they'll definitely play on special teams, and they'll play in certain things running back. And as the season goes on, kind of like we did with Carry On, the more and more that we can, feature them in different things.
Because it's clearly not surprising you've got 3 freshmen in that receiving recruiting class on this depth chart. How much are you going to need an impact out of at least maybe 1 or 2 of them this year?
Well, like I've said about the freshman receivers, they're what we thought they were. Once we saw fall camp, and they're every bit of what we thought they were. It's just going to be a matter of how quick they can get comfortable, and we're going to play them. They're going to be out there the first game, and it's just going to be a matter of how quick they can become comfortable and confident. But it's very exciting, the future at wide receiver. Once those guys do get comfortable, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Coach, can you compare Sean White's demeanor right now leading up to this game as opposed to maybe some of his first few games last season?
Well, I think obviously the experience factor, he knows how to prepare, he knows what to expect. I think from a coach's standpoint, we know what to expect out of him. And I think that's just the more comfort that you have compared to last year. We were learning each game as we went about him, and he was learning about this league and himself, and then he went through the injuries. And in fairness to him, he wasn't healthy the rest of the year. Well, he's healthy now. So it's just a completely different feel, from a comfort standpoint of going into the game. And, first games are always about adjustments. You got the whole off season to develop a plan in all 3 phases. And usually after the first quarter, you have a good idea, and you've got to be able to adjust to win first games. And so having an experienced guy like him, hopefully will definitely help.
If you could expand on Deshaun Watson a little bit, and I guess if there's any difference when you're preparing for a guy of that caliber.
Yeah, well, we recruited Deshaun here, and obviously went to Clemson when my buddy Chad Morris was the coordinator there. They run a very similar offense. He does a very good job within the system, but his strength probably is when things break down, and then when they choose to run him. He's an excellent runner. He's got a very good first step, similar to Nick Marshall as far as the first step with the explosiveness. And then you got a guy that's experienced, and not just experienced, but experienced in big games. So that's kind of the best of both worlds.
What do you expect from Clemson's defensive line? They obviously lost some talent. The ones that you've seen on film or from recruiting?
Yeah, I think their defensive line is a very good defensive line. They're very aggressive. They put pressure on the offense. They try to play on the offensive line of scrimmage. They're similar to our defensive line. So, the good thing is we practice against our defensive line every day, which really hope that'll help us not only in this game but in the games to come.
Gus, I know you kind of do what you do on offense, but having guys like that on the other side of the ball, does it change your mindset a little bit in the game, knowing that, hey, they're likely going to score some points?
Well, I think each game unfolds differently, and I think as a coach, you've got to be prepared for all the different scenarios of how each game unfolds. I think when we played these guys in 2010, I think we got behind, and I think we had to have a 2-minute drive to kick a field goal to put points on the board before halftime. So I think from a coach's standpoint, you got to be prepared for every scenario, and you've got to be able to adjust.
How important is it to just protect home field after the way last season transpired, and also, Clemson hasn't won here in 66 years, and what had been a long-standing rivalry?
Yeah, well, I think it's important anytime, every year, to protect our home field. We got one of the better home field advantages with our fans in college football, and that's very important to us.
Gus, were you able to get any information at all with what you were doing in preseason that carry on can handle a 15 to 20 carry workload, or are you just not going to know that till you line up?
Yeah, I'm very confident about that, but until you get out there and actually do it. But you put him in situations in practice, and like I said, we recruited him to be the guy. Felt like he could do that. And last year, in fairness to him, he was banged up, but he was a true freshman. And he continued to play when he was banged up when some guys wouldn't have played. So I know he's a tough guy. He's a confident guy. He's ready for the challenge. We'll see what happens.
Guess what is Darius Slayton kind of rank the receiving core? He's listed as a starter at one of the receiver positions, not if he redshirt.
Probably the toughness factor is the thing that stands out to me. Coach Burns has really demanded, toughness from each guy, and we've really strained him a lot. Coach Burns has strained him a lot, and he's weathered the storm. He's a guy that, I think he'll get better and better the more he plays, but he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy, and he's reached the standard here so far, what Coach Burns expects.
Have time for a few more?
Guys, you list Jeremy or John as the backup. Do you have a determination there, and are you committed to playing Jeremy this season?
There's a good chance all of them will play throughout the season. You got to be prepared for that. But like I said, the only thing I'm going to tell you right now is Sean White's our starter, and we're expecting Sean to play and play well. As far as 2 and 3 is concerned, we're not ready to say who will be the first one in. I think both the guys are good at certain things.
So is there any consideration of redshirting Jeremy?
I mean, we're just starting out the year. So the guys are expecting, we're not planning on redshirting Jeremy. We're not planning on redshirting John. I mean, that's pretty premature.
Sorry, do you know who will be getting most of the second team reps?
Yeah, I've got a good idea.